The flagship for any shipyard is the culmination of decades of experience, feedback from owners, hard work, and sacrifice, and it usually shows in the details. Today we're on board Telstar, a Lagoon 77 that embodies what it means to be a flagship vessel. Telstar was built at the historic CNB shipyards in Bordeaux, France, which is well known for churning out some of the most beautiful and luxurious boats over the last 40 years. She's got an LOA of 77 feet and a beam of just over 36 feet, making her one of the beamiest semi-custom production catamarans in the market today. This particular Lagoon 77 is equipped with a comprehensive sail package with a Code Zero and Genoa, both on hydraulic furlers, and a carbon fiber canoe boom with folding props. This boat is set up to sail and sail exceptionally well. We're going to begin the tour here on the port sugar scoop, which houses the passerelle, the hot cold shower, as well as the swim ladder, which can be deployed either on the port side or the starboard side. I'm currently standing on board the hydraulic tender lift, which is perfect not only for deploying or retrieving your tender, but makes a great dive platform, as well as beach club when you're in a beautiful anchorage like we are today. And speaking of tender, this particular boat is equipped with a Czar 4.9 meter tender with 90 horsepower Yamaha. From here, we're going to make our way up to the foredeck, but before we do that, I just want to point out the scale of this boat. With a 36-foot beam, you can just see how large it is in the cockpit. On the subject of scale, I mean, this weather deck is a great example of just how large and massive this boat is. I mean, I'm 5'11", and this coach roof just dwarfs me. Now, there's a number of other really nice details worth noting here on the way up to the foredeck, such as the PBO standing rigging, flush-mounted hatches. We also have courtesy lights built into the bulwarks. This boat is all about the elevated owner experience, and a big part of that is having adequate places to lounge out. And one of the best places to have a front row seat while out sailing on Telstar is here in this forward cockpit, which feels very secure because of how it's set into the deck, but also gives you a front row seat while under sail. And just forward of the cockpit, we have the quick anchor windlass. Now, let's not kid ourselves. This is a luxury yacht, but it's a luxury sailing yacht. And at the heart of that is a very powerful sail plan, which includes a longeron with a Code Zero and a hydraulic furler on her Genoa, as well as a carbon fiber boom and square top main and PBO synthetic rigging. Starboard forward, we have one of the crew cabins. This particular one has got its own head as well as a washer dryer. And just forward of the crew cabin on both port and starboard side, we have these large dolphin seats on the bows. Let's go ahead and make our way back to the cockpit. One little detail I'd like to point out though is that instead of having a traditional black Sikaflex, the owner of this boat opted to have a gray which matches the hulls, and it's quite stunning looking. Before we hop into the cockpit, I just want to touch on the mechanical spaces. Telstar is equipped with the upgraded John Deere engines, as well as a dual generator setup. Now over on the port side, we have the water maker. Here on the starboard side, we have the chiller system. As we've already talked about, this boat is all about the user's experience, and the cockpit on any catamaran is a big part of that. Now on Telstar, we've got a number of well-defined lounging spaces here on the boat, not just for resting, relaxing, but also enjoying a great meal after a long day of water sports. One of the focal points of this cockpit is the alfresco dining here on the starboard side, where they've comfortably sat 10 people for meal service. We've got 2 day beds. On the port side, it's a fixed position. On the starboard side, it's a ratcheting back. Excellent place to sit back and read a book. Aft centerline, we've got a large bench seat. And then port forward of that, we've got my favorite area of the cockpit, which is this oversized, overstuffed daybed, all WeatherTech fabric, allowing you to jump on it whether you're wet or dry. So we've got the foundation of an elevated owner experience here on the boat, but it's also important that the crew has the tools they need to deliver that. On Telstar, they've got everything they need, starting with here on the starboard aft transom, a drink fridge and wet bar. And then as we make our way across over on the port side, we've got an ice maker, another bar area, and additional storage for things like chamois and cleaning supplies. Another really big part of boating are the water sport activities. And underfoot right here, we've got massive lazarettes, which house not just the kite boards, wakeboards, dive gear, but everything else you need to have that world-class yachting experience. By this point in the walkthrough, you can tell this is a beautiful boat, but the details is really what sets it apart from most boats in her class. The capstan's a great example. They could have very easily just made a fiberglass enclosure. Instead, they opted to make it not just functional, but beautiful by incorporating the teak. Lagoon essentially created the production cruising flybridge catamaran. The Lagoon 440, which came out around 2005, was that boat, and this is the pinnacle of catamaran flybridge design, in my opinion. They've been perfecting it a long time, and this one is exceptionally well laid out. The beach club vibes that we first encountered on the main bridge deck level of the boat are carried up here to the flybridge with this massive sunbed here aft. From what I've been told by the captain, this is the favorite place for the owner as well as his charter guests. Across from that, we've got a large table that pockets, so you can have outdoor dining up here on the flybridge, or just the perfect place to enjoy a cocktail while your chef's setting the table and preparing dinner. Now, we've already talked a couple times about how there's two things required for an elevated owner's experience. One are things like the lounging spaces we've talked about. Now, the other aspect is having the crew able to deliver your expectations of service, and that's made very easy up here on the flybridge. Centerline, we've got a wet bar with ice maker and refrigerator, as well as another preparation station here just after the port helm. One of the nice things about this Centerline island is it actually kind of creates a natural barrier between the operational section of the flybridge and the relaxation area of the flybridge. So over here at the starboard helm, we've got a full set of B&G electronics, as well as the engine controls, quick windlass remote, and all of your lighting controls up here. By having the helms all the way forward, not only do you have great lines of sight to both bows, but you also have a lot more privacy because your captain is primarily going to be looking forward. Don't let this barrier, though, make you feel like you're not part of the sailing. With the large opening sunroof and these skylights, you can be part of the action while still safely remaining out of the way. Now, the way that the crew is easily able to harness all of the power of this rig is through this set of 5 Harken electric winches with nice line organizers helping keeping the space very tidy. And then over here on the port side, we've got a second set of engine controls, bow thruster control, and another B&G display, making it very easy for the captain to come either port side to, starboard side to, or just have a better line of sight while sailing up or down the Drake Channel. Before we show you the salon now, I'm going to show you one of the 4 guest cabins access here from the cockpit. The port aft cabin is a queen-size berth which can be partitioned into 2 independent twin beds, which is perfect for those adult children that you bring along with you while cruising. Now from there, we're going to make our way into the salon and check that space out. The whole idea of elevated user experience is carried on into the salon with a nice L-shaped settee over on the port side. These tables are high-low tables, so they're currently configured as coffee tables, which I can't think of a nicer place to have my coffee in the morning while coming up with my game plan for the day. Adjacent to that, over on the starboard side, we've got a large overstuffed U-shaped settee with a movable chase lounge. It is the perfect place to either put a slideshow of your photos from adventuring for the day or for movie night after a long day in the sun. Continuing forward, we get to the interior forward settees, which is an excellent place to escape a passing squall from the forward cockpit, easily accessed through this door. And another really nice, unique use for this is it's almost like a private mezzanine for the owner, because the owner's stateroom is right here on the starboard side, and I could just see myself coming up here to have coffee in the morning and think about my plans for the day. To deliver that elevated level of experience that somebody like the owner of Telstar expects, you need to be able to provide that service. And it all starts with the functionality here in the salon, with the beautifully laid out coffee station, all of your AV equipment below, storage in the centerline island, as well as a full wet bar here. As we continue around to the port side of the salon, we've got additional cold storage. The sink is actually under this beautiful leather top. And then all the vessel management systems are behind these cabinets, and a forward-facing nav station, which allows the captain to communicate clearly with the owner of the boat what's going on while remaining out of the way. We're going to make our way through the salon, continuing on the port side to check out the second ensuite guest cabin, which is midship on the boat. And as we move forward in the cabin, we have a beautiful ensuite head on the outboard side. Coming out of that port midship cabin forward, we've got the galley, which is a professional grade galley. There's plenty of workspace on the countertops, and there's also tons of cold storage here in the galley with a full-size upright refrigerator, as well as a freezer in the bilge down below the galley. This boat is also equipped with Miele appliances, giving the chef complete control and accuracy to execute the 5-star meals most discerning owners would require. Moving forward to the galley, we've got the crew cabin, which is a bunk room ahead, and then forward to that, a forepeak for the third crew member. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to be showing you those spaces today because they are occupied and being lived in by the full-time crew of 4. We're going to make our way across the salon and continue with the tour of the staterooms. Starboard aft, we have the VIP stateroom, which is a full walk-around queen-size berth with ample storage on the inboard side. And just like those 2 other guest cabins, tons of natural light coming in through the outboard window. One other small detail item in this stateroom that you'll see in all 4 guest spaces are the USB chargers, as well as plenty of outlets for charging up all of your devices. Forward of that, we have the VIP head, which is absolutely stunning. From here, we're going to make our way back through the salon and check out the owner's stateroom, which has its own private entryway starboard forward. And as always, we save the best stateroom for last, the owner's stateroom. Now, on a boat like a Lagoon 77, you would expect it to be a large space, but until you walk in here, it's really hard to appreciate the scale of it with a full king-size walk-around berth that's beautifully framed by this outboard window, bringing in lots of natural light. We've also got tons of storage on the outboard side, as well as a walk-in closet that's usually not found on smaller catamarans. So those types of things that allow you to take the creature comforts of home with you, no matter how remote the destination. We're going to make our way aft and check out the spa-like owner's head here on board Telstar. A couple things else I want to point out in this owner's stateroom, though, is this beautiful chase lounge here on the outboard side, as well as a nice workstation here on the inboard side. And let's just take a moment to look at this real quickly. This is a great example of how this boat uses dark woods, light woods, soft fabrics to create just a very tranquil space, not only in the salon as you've already seen, but in each one of these well-appointed staterooms. Those light beachy tones continue from the owner's stateroom into the owner's spa-like head with its dual basin sinks and a large window on the outboard side flooding the space with natural light. Thank you guys so much for spending a little time with me on board Telstar. I feel so fortunate and appreciative of the crew and owner for being so accommodating with us on board. If you have any questions on the boat, please leave a comment down below, shoot me an email, and as always, thank you and have a great day.